In a small town in Florida, a legal drama unfolded that captivated the nation, igniting debates over wildlife rights, property laws, and human-animal interactions. This is the story of an alligator named Charlie, whose presence sparked a controversy that would leave many questioning the boundaries of the law and the ethics of human conduct in nature. Charlie was no ordinary alligator. He was a 5-foot-long reptile who made his home in a picturesque pond behind the house of a local resident, a woman named Mary. The pond was a serene oasis for Mary, who loved to watch the wildlife that frequented the area. However, everything changed when Charlie decided to take a leisurely stroll out of the water one sunny afternoon. The sight of a large alligator wandering through the neighborhood sent shockwaves through the community. At first, the neighbors were intrigued. They gathered to watch Charlie bask in the sun, snapping pictures and sharing their excitement on social media. But soon that thrill turned to fear. Concerns about safety began to mount. What if Charlie wandered into someone's yard? What if children played too close to the water? The idyllic charm of the pond transformed into a scene of worry and anxiety. Local authorities were called in to deal with the situation. Animal control arrived, equipped with nets and tranquilizers, but Charlie was elusive. He seemed to enjoy the attention, slipping into the water whenever anyone got too close. Frustrated by their inability to capture him, officials decided to take a different approach. They issued warnings to residents, urging them to keep their distance and avoid provoking the alligator. But the tension escalated when a neighborhood group petitioned for Charlie's removal. They argued that the alligator posed a threat to public safety. Their concerns were valid, of course. Alligators can be dangerous, especially if they feel threatened or cornered. However, the legal complexities of removing a protected species from its habitat loomed large. In Florida, alligators are protected under state law, and capturing or relocating them requires permits and justifiable reasons. This is where the controversy thickened. The community was divided. Some residents supported the petition, believing that Charlie should be removed for the safety of children and pets. Others argued that it was Charlie's home and he had every right to live there peacefully. They contended that the real issue lay in how humans encroached on wildlife habitats, not the presence of the alligator itself. Amidst the chaos, Mary emerged as Charlie's most vocal defender. She viewed the alligator as an integral part of the ecosystem, a creature deserving of respect and protection. Mary organized community meetings, bringing together wildlife experts to educate her neighbors about alligator behavior and the importance of coexisting with nature. She argued that the fear surrounding Charlie was misplaced and that the community had to learn how to live alongside wildlife rather than banishing it. As the debates raged on, the local government found itself in a precarious position. They faced pressure from both sides. On one hand, they had a group of concerned citizens demanding action to remove the alligator. On the other, they had a passionate community advocating for wildlife preservation. The stakes were high, and the decisions made would set a precedent for future interactions between humans and alligators. One day, the situation reached a breaking point. A child playing near the pond spotted Charlie and, in a moment of curiosity, approached the alligator. The scene quickly escalated as parents shouted for the child to return. Authorities were called, and in a frenzy, animal control was dispatched once again. This time, they were determined to capture Charlie before any harm could be done. The situation sparked outrage among Charlie's supporters. They argued that the child's parents should have been more vigilant and that the alligator was not at fault. Criticism ensued, with many calling for accountability from both the parents and local officials. The media caught wind of the story, and soon local news outlets descended on the town, eager to cover the unfolding drama. Headlines blared, "Alligator or child, who's to blame?" As the public outcry grew, the government finally decided to take action. They called for a public hearing to address the issues surrounding Charlie. Both sides were invited to present their cases, and the courtroom was packed with citizens eager to voice their opinions. The atmosphere was electric, filled with tension and anticipation as the community braced for a showdown. During the hearing, experts spoke on behalf of both sides. Wildlife biologists presented evidence about the behavior of alligators, emphasizing that they typically avoid human contact unless provoked. They argued that removing Charlie would not only be harmful to the alligator but could also set a dangerous precedent, encouraging further encroachment on wildlife habitats. Conversely, local safety officials made the case for removal. They highlighted the potential risks, particularly for children playing near the water. They argued that while Charlie might not be aggressive, the possibility of an encounter with a frightened alligator could lead to tragic consequences. As the arguments unfolded, Mary took to the stand, passionately defending Charlie's right to remain in the pond. She shared her experiences of observing him, painting a picture of a creature that was more afraid of humans than they were of him. Her heartfelt plea resonated with many in the room, challenging the narrative that alligators were simply dangerous beasts. The hearing concluded, but the community was left in a state of uncertainty. Would Charlie be removed? Would he be allowed to stay? The judge took the matter under advisement, promising to deliver a verdict that would reflect the balance between public safety and wildlife preservation. Days turned into weeks and the anticipation grew. The town buzzed with speculation, each resident forming their own opinions about what the outcome would be. Finally, the day arrived when the verdict would be revealed. The courtroom was filled once again, the air thick with anticipation. When the judge entered, a hush fell over the room. He took a moment to reflect on the testimonies and evidence presented, then delivered a ruling that shocked many. In a surprising twist, he ruled in favor of Charlie, allowing the alligator to remain in his home. However, the ruling came with conditions. The community was required to establish safety measures around the pond to ensure that residents, particularly children, could enjoy the area without putting themselves at risk. The verdict sparked a wave of emotions. Supporters of Charlie erupted in cheers, celebrating what they saw as a victory for wildlife rights. Conversely, those who had advocated for removal expressed disappointment and frustration. The town was divided, but the ruling forced them to confront the reality of their coexistence with nature. In the aftermath, the community rallied to implement the judge's ruling. They organized cleanup efforts and education programs about living alongside wildlife. Signs were posted around the pond, warning residents to keep their distance and respect Charlie's space. Schools incorporated lessons about local wildlife into their curriculum, teaching children the importance of understanding and respecting the creatures that share their environment. As months passed, Charlie became somewhat of a local celebrity. Residents learned to appreciate the alligator, often gathering to watch him sunbathe or swim in the pond. The fear that once gripped the community gradually transformed into admiration. Charlie's story became a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between humans and nature. In a world where legal battles often seem cut and dry, Charlie's case illustrated the complexities of wildlife interactions and the ethical dilemmas that arise when humans and animals share the same space. It challenged the community to reflect on their responsibility towards nature and the creatures that inhabit it. Ultimately, Charlie's story is a testament to the idea that sometimes the most bizarre situations can lead to important conversations. It teaches us that in the heart of legal controversies, there are often deeper themes at play: questions of ethics, empathy, and coexistence. The courtroom may have ruled in favor of an alligator, but in doing so, it sparked a movement towards greater awareness and respect for the wildlife that surrounds us. As we close this chapter, it's clear that the story of Charlie the alligator is far from over. His presence will continue to inspire discussions about wildlife conservation and the intricate relationship between humans and nature. In the end, it's a reminder that reality can indeed be stranger than fiction, and sometimes the most unexpected heroes emerge from the most unusual circumstances.